Hello everybody, welcome back to C&S Corvettes in beautiful, sunny, and kind of chilly Sarasota, Florida today. Here to talk to you about more interesting, exciting Corvette stuff. It's your Corvette buddy, Lyle. Today we're going to start talking about important things to consider as you start shopping for your Corvette this spring, because springtime is time to buy the next Corvette, and we're going to try to be as helpful as we can in helping you find the right Corvette for you. Let's get into it right now. Whoa, wait a minute. Guys, we are just a handful of people away from 70,000 subscribers. 70,000. I did a video just a few months ago that we were at 65. Now we're going to hit 70. So I have a very ambitious goal for 2025, and you guys are the only ones who can make it happen. I want to hit 100,000 subscribers by December 31st of this year. All you have to do, if you like our videos, if you find any value in what we do and you're not subscribed, please just hit that subscribe button. We're not going to bombard you with emails. We're not going to try to sell you a bunch of stuff, but it really helps our channel. And man, nothing would be a better Christmas present for Lyle, me, than to get my 100,000 subscriber plaque from YouTube. That is one of my stated goals for the short term, and it would really mean the world to me. So, if you found what I do helpful or entertaining, the easiest way to thank me is by hitting that subscribe button and liking videos that you find useful. Thanks so much. Now, I won't tell them I said this. Let's get back to what we were doing. As you're probably aware, there are many different facets when it comes to searching for, locating, and acquiring the perfect Corvette for you. I have done several videos on this, but each spring I try to do kind of an update and provide a little more insight into the good, smart strategies to get the right car for you at the right price without any nasty surprises. Because nasty surprises can really ruin that wonderful Corvette buying and new car smell kind of excitement. One of the things that I caution people about here at the shop all the time, because people come in and say, hey, I'm getting into the Corvette hobby, or I just sold my old Corvette, I'm looking to buy a such and such, what do you recommend? Oftentimes, Corvette people specifically have a very strong concern about the mileage. Now, on a car that is either less than 5 years old, or a car that is museum or collector or NCRS quality, yes, mileage does matter. However, if you are buying a car to be a showpiece, to be a car that you take to car shows, that you roll out of a trailer, have it judged, roll into the trailer and drive home, you're not shopping for the same car that a guy like me who wants to drive it to work a couple of times a week and enjoy it on the weekends, regardless kind of the weather. We're two very different buyers looking for two very different cars. Let me say this, most people who are looking to buy a Corvette today are looking at something that they want to drive. The vast majority, highest percentage of people out there trying to buy a Corvette want something they can enjoy, not just rub with a diaper and look at under the lights in their garage and go, isn't she beautiful? And there's nothing wrong with that, but that is becoming a smaller and smaller percentage of the Corvette hobby. People today, especially the younger people who are coming into the Corvette hobby, kids like 21-year-old Andy, are one of our techs, they want to drive the car and they want to make it their own, and they'll put their own seats in it and they'll do all kinds of stuff that the Corvette faithful from 20, 30 years ago would have been like, when they saw it. But that's what these kids want to do. It's their money, it's their car. And we, those of us in the hobby, we have to follow the trends to a degree. There are certain things that maybe he would do, I wouldn't do, but at the same time, that doesn't make it wrong. When it comes to mileage on cars, unless you are buying something 3,500 miles or less, it is not a collector piece. It is not something that you're gonna put in one of those clear inflatable bubbles and keep in an air-conditioned and heated garage, out of sunlight, away from the public view for 10 years and make a boatload of money. If the car has 6, 7, 10, 15,000 miles on it, it's low mileage, but that is not going to be considered concourse quality, collector quality. It's just a really low mileage car. What does that mean to you as the second or third owner, prospectively, who would be taking on this car? What that means is this car has spent a lot of its time doing what I'm doing right now, sitting still. People tend to equate low mileage with excellent condition. Not necessarily true. In fact, oftentimes it is less true with a car that has been driven extremely sparingly than it is with a car that has been used regularly and things have worn out and things have failed and they have been replaced and updated because they had to be. Oftentimes you get into a car that's 12, 15, 20 or more years old and it's got super low miles on it. If you, the new owner, are buying it saying, man, I'm going to drive the wheels off this thing, I'm going to go do Tail of the Dragon, I'm going to do the Natchez Trail, I'm going to do the Route 66, you are going to have a long road to hoe when you start driving that car on the regular. Because all the things that were okay when the previous owner drove it 150 miles over the course of an entire year, when you put 150 miles on it in the course of the first 3 hours, 4 hours you own it, there's a very good chance that things are going to start happening to that car that you're not going to like. Because the car's going to be like, whoa, 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 what are we doing here? It's like somebody who's been sitting on the couch for 20 years and all of a sudden you're like, all right, time to start doing wind sprints, let's go. You can imagine what would happen to that person. The same type of thing is going to happen to your car. So I always counsel people when they are looking to buy a Corvette that they are going to actively drive and enjoy, don't necessarily worry about the mileage. What you are looking for is condition, maintenance records and proof of previous care, and overall health of the car. A big way to learn what the overall health of the car is have somebody like a mechanic you trust or a Corvette specialist like us that you trust do an inspection on the car. This is the cheapest insurance you're ever going to buy. A gentleman today brought in his 2011 Grand Sport that he just bought like 2 weeks ago from a used car lot about an hour south of here. Nice car. And he's like, well, you know, it's got this rattle and that rattle. I want you to do an inspection. Let me know what it needs. Well, what it needs is the harmonic balancer is wobbling, the front crank seal is leaking, the oil pan gasket is leaking, the torque tube, apparently the torque tube had been done by a professional shop, we'll call it that, just a couple years ago, and they didn't install it correctly, so the entire drive shaft is sitting this far too back. The front bearing isn't even in the bearing mounting, it's over here just kind of rocking around. So now this guy also, his F55 shocks, they replaced the ones at the front with brand new F55s. Good job. Unfortunately, they also shattered one of the little ride height actuators on the front left of the car, so the F55 system doesn't even work right now. Plus, they still have 2 old F55 shocks at the back that are leaking like a sieve. So this guy's like, well, I'm moving them to Montana. I'm going to take this car out there. I want it right before it goes. What are you going to need? What's it going to cost? I said, doing all this is going to cost you about 10 grand. He's like, but I just spent 30 on the car. I'm like, I understand that, but you didn't have it inspected by anybody. Well, no, they told me it'd be good. I'm like, well, here you are. This is precisely the type of situation I'm trying to save you people from. Do not buy a car like this. And this car only has about 60,000 miles on it. It's a 2011 Grand Sport. It's nice. You know, it had good records on it and all that, but even when the work's been done correctly, or the work's been performed, if it hasn't been done correctly, you're going to have it redone on your dime. Make sure you get a car inspected. Really pay attention to Carfax. Real pay attention to, especially if the owner of the car has actual physical records of what's been done to the car. Those are gold, absolute gold, because Carfax only knows what is reported to Carfax. People who keep track of their maintenance tend to keep track of all of it because they view it as a net positive, and it is. Here's this thick folder with, sorted by date, everything that's been done to this car since I got it. Now you have an idea of what you're really dealing with. And at that point, the mileage becomes less important because time is going to take its toll on all of these cars. And so many times, I hear it over and over again, people come into our shop and they just bought this car with 12,000 miles on it. It's a 2003 50th anniversary, and the car is pristine. I mean, gorgeous. We put it up in the air. Needs a harmonic balancer. Needs a torque tube because it sounds like a bunch of loose change rattling around in there. All 4 F55 shocks are leaking. All of a sudden, boom, you're at the $10,000 mark again. And They're like, but it only has 12,000 miles. I'm like, yes, but all these things have worn out. And part of the reason the people who had the car probably decided to sell it was because they knew enough about the car to know that it needed all this stuff. And while it was still really beautiful and still a legit nice car that needed maintenance, they decided to offload it and go get something that didn't need that maintenance. So we don't want to put you in that position. Corvettes do hold their value fairly well for a domestic car. The lower the mileage, it does tend to help with the value. But that's when you're selling the car. When you're buying the car and you are buying a 15, 20-year-old unknown vehicle that could have a host of problems that aren't physically visible and that you wouldn't feel when you're driving if you don't know what to look for, it's a whole different thing. Lower miles are not your friend unless you're buying something that is a collector car. You want something to drive, find something with 40, 50, 60, 70, 80,000 miles on it that has good provenance, good maintenance records. And yeah, I mean, guys, I really want you guys to, all those of you who are going to go shopping this year for a Corvette, I am so excited for you, especially if it's your first Corvette. This is going to be some of the most fun you're ever going to have. Because when you go to finally pick up that car that you've searched for weeks or months for, and it's exactly the car you want, there's no better feeling in the world. It's like the birth of your first child. It is so much fun. I just don't want that beautiful dream to turn into a nightmare 6 weeks later when you have to go and have something checked out and all of a sudden you're hit with this giant surprise bill. That is no fun for me to do it to the new owner, and it's certainly no fun for them. So yeah, that's it. So again, lower miles are great, but overall condition, please pay attention to trying to get the car inspected, and that'll really help you avoid having a real problem after you've purchased the car. Any questions, any comments about this? If you have other ideas leading into what maybe other suggestions you have for people who are looking to buy a Corvette this spring, put them in the comments below. I'm going to be doing another video expanding upon other aspects of this search, and I can add those in. So thank you for watching. I appreciate all your help. Have a great day.